Welcome to the Kaimancast. I'm your host, Red Kaiman. Today we have a very, very special guest with the program here to promote his comic, now available on webtoon. If you guys could welcome Mr. Edwin Leger.
Thank you. Stop it. Thank you. You should put applause.
I know Mr. Edwin is here to promote his comic Breakhold. Again, it's available on webtoon. It's a sort of interesting, very awesome, like anime-inspired supernatural comic about a kid who has to go through sort of this netherworld region and sort of search deep within himself to find like magical powers. I mean, that's how I'm perceiving it. But
Could continue.
And it's very I love the anime influence. I love the almost sort of tokusatsu influence of this work. It's very original. It's something that I really enjoy. I do think it's something that has the potential to be something big in the future. So Mr. Edwin, would you like to discuss sort of your conception of how you came up with Breakhold, like what your process was and things like that?
Yeah. So Breakhold started off when for your listeners, I'm 25 right now, and Breakhold, the conception of Breakhold was created when I was like 15. I was 15 in sophomore in high school, and I was thinking to myself, like, what happens if someone can separate aspects of themselves, and that aspect can manifest into like a being, you know? Because at the time, I was depressed. I was going through like hormonal changes, and I was really contemplating on the fact that like I didn't have a father, and that really played out negatively in my psyche because it's like, yo, I don't have a father. You know, I mean, I'm not I'm laughing now because I kind of like resolve those issues, but at the time, it was very depressing for me, and I just wanted to remove. I physically wanted to remove the depression from my heart so I could just move on with my life. And then that's kind of where you get Breakhold, or that's where you get mindset. Actually, you get mindset first because mindset is kind of like the embodiment of all the of an individual's mind and psyche and ego, and then you get Breakhold, which is the manifestation of someone's emotions and feelings.
That's actually really cool. A very interesting way you've conceptualized that. So I mean, I know you talked about psychology and stuff on other podcasts. Is there somebody in particular that you were into when you came up with this idea, like psychologically speaking?
So I was really into psychology and philosophy. So it was Socrates, Plato's, and Aristotle. The typical philosophers. And then it kind of moved on to I like a lot of Floyd's thinking. Like he divided the psychology into the id, superego, and ego.
Okay.
And I thought that was interesting. Yeah. And then there's other philosophers, there's other psychologists who I can't think of right now who like really influence the way that I perceive our experience as human beings and how to compartmentalize that into actual beings.
I just think it's very cool for all of our listeners. I mean, if you look at Breakhold, there's an awesome scene where he goes through this portal and he's fighting like dinosaurs. Like tell me about the experience of hiring your artist. Like, what was that like?
Okay, so for the art, the art's interesting because I designed all the characters way back when, and they've just been through like vigorous phases of reincarnation almost along with the story. Okay. But then I didn't want to draw it. So I literally just went on Reddit and I put up an ad, like, hey, this is what I'm looking for. Can anybody help me? And everybody submitted their artwork, and I cycled through all the artwork and stuff like that. And Benji, the artist who I decided to go with, his art style was just the most accurate to my vision of Breakhold. So I was like, hey, like, do you want to work with me on this project? And he said, yeah. And then we just made it happen.
It's really cool. So, I mean, like, how much creative control did Benji have over the designs? I mean, could he interpret them in certain ways if you wanted to, or like how is your process like?
Okay. So when it comes to like the art, I I have a very specific, because when I'm writing the script, because everything he draws is pretty much off the script, as if he pretty much draws and colors everything based off the script that I gave him, and if it's not exactly what's on the script, I'll have to weigh whether his interpretation of it is close enough to my interpretation of it that I'll let it slide. And if it's not, and that happens sometimes, I'm like, you have to redraw this. Like there's certain characters that he would draw that I'm just like, no, you got to redraw this. Like this is absolutely not how I saw them in my head, you know?
Okay.
But there's other characters that he did really well, and I'm like, wow, that's actually a lot better than I interpreted them. Like, good for you.
I do love the ability to have sort of something in your head and then you can just give it to somebody else. Like, here, you have the difficulty of putting it all together.
Which is I guess it's a testament to the writing because a lot of like the stuff that he ends up drawing, I'm baffled. It's like, wow, you really did it. Like this is really what's going on in my head. But like, let's say if you were to draw me an episode, like 80% of his drawings would be absolutely spot on to like the way that I see it in my head. And then and I thought about it, I was like, well, he's not just making this shit up. Like he's literally reading the words I put on the paper. So so you know, it's like kind of gives me credit because it's like, well, I'm very descriptive apparently because he's just knocking out of the park.
It's beautiful. That's beautiful. So right now, I know there's like 5 episodes right now. Or were you going to continue on that? Like, what is your current game plan?
Yeah. So right now, it's funny because before we got on this, I just pulled up all the scripts. Right now, I plan on publishing 1 or 2 more episodes, and then like the rest will have to be funded through a Kickstarter where I'll raise money so I can release the graphic novel.
Okay. So it's going to be the graphic novel for Breakhold. Okay. How many pages were you looking at? Just out of curiosity.
Right now, we're looking at 130 pages max.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. You got a lot of work ahead of
you. Yeah. But I figured because my ultimate goal is to have it made into an animated series.
Okay.
And when I present something like Breakhold to a producer, they need to be able to like grasp it the way that I do, and like the best way to do that is to make it into a book, you know?
Okay.
So yeah.
Is there a part in the back of your head that's thinking about maybe like animating it yourself, or if the time was if the situation popped up, or I'm just freeballing here, you know?
No. Yeah, a lot of people have told me that. Like, I had a close friend, a director buddy actually, who tells me like, "Hey, like you just do this yourself," and it's like, you could, but like the way that I want it to be done, the way that it deserves to be done, it needs to have like that kind of like put how do you say it before, like the Disney machine behind it, not necessarily Disney, but it needs the machine behind it. You know, it needs,
yeah.
You know, it needs the voice actors, it needs the sound design, it needs the music, it needs the animation, like all that matters, and you just can't do that on a string budget.
Yeah,
in my opinion.
it takes a while because just making a 1-minute animated short like I did for Chomp Sushi, it just took forever. I did the whole, I drew everything, I drew the backgrounds, animated voiceover, did the music, and it's still, you know, you still have people like, what the heck is this thing? You know what I mean? So yeah, I get where you're coming from.
Yeah, and you also want to put it on TV because platform also matters.
Yeah, definitely. And put it on streaming and things like that. I mean, it would probably be like a full, like, yeah, that'd be cool, like couple episode feature kind of thing.
Right.
Yeah.
Like 12 episodes. I think this could be, I think you could do this in 12 episodes.
Yeah, that would be cool. Just kind of pull it off. I will say though, making 12 episodes is hard work. I'm kind of in the middle of something right now, and it's just like
but that's the fun part though, right? Like are you doing it with creators or are you doing it by yourself?
Oh, dude, this one project, I'm just doing it by myself, and I'm just kind of like, what was I thinking? No, but at the same time, like you're in the middle of it, you're designing the assets, and you're like, you know what, let's just keep going, let's just be consistent, you know, because you have to design everything from scratch, all the assets from scratch, and I'm experimenting with different softwares, experimenting with different things, trying to figure out. I'm just trying to figure out the workflow. That's all I'm trying to figure out right now. So we're almost there, but it does take a while. You know, I feel like Corona and all that stuff. It kind of goofed up my. I had plans. Corona goofed up the plans. I'm trying to be flexible, but it's hard.
No, I feel that. I mean, it's
Yeah.
you and the rest of the world, right?
Yeah, exactly. Because just lately I've been beating myself up about things, but then you're like, dude, look at there's so many people who have it worse than you. But you know what I mean? Like you want to get better, but you don't want. I don't know. It's just a weird thing. I'm going through a weird time as well as everybody else, so it is what it is.
Right.
Yeah. So tell me about you. Like, what are you enthusiastic about? Like right now, just off the top of your head. Like, where's your head at?
Oh, okay. We're talking about like right now in this moment. I
Uh-huh.
am thinking about ways to move to Japan.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean for obvious reasons. Like I'm, like you said, like my work is influenced by anime, and
Uh-huh.
it's not by chance. Like I love anime. I think anime is my religion, really.
Uh,
um,
日本語かわかりますか?
oh, you know Japanese?
Well, I'm actually half Japanese, so that
Oh,
works.
really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Oh, have you ever been?
When I was like 5 years old, and it hasn't. I haven't been back since then. But yeah, when I was 5.
Oh, that doesn't
So
count. I mean, it counts. Like if we're gonna
yeah,
put it, but it
I
doesn't
get you.
count.
But yeah, it's a whole story. Because like I haven't. I wanted to be more fluent, but it's hard to be fluent in Japanese because the way the subject, the verb, and the object, it's flipped. It's not like English or Spanish. Like I can think in Spanish, but I can't think in Japanese. I had a well, it's famous in my circles, a conversation with a Hispanic woman because she was trying to learn all these she's trying to learn everything about the world. And I told her this story about me and my mother. And I said, like, because I was driving in traffic one day and I was like, man, manejando con los pendejos, which in Spanish means driving with the assholes, right? So I was like, you know what? I want to learn how to say this in Japanese. So I go to my mother and I say, hey, Ma, how do I say manejando con los pendejos in Japanese? And she's like, you know what? There really isn't a phrase in Japanese that expresses that expression. I'm like, are you serious right now? Like, she's never been mad in traffic in Japan. And I'm like, this is why it's so hard for me to learn this language. Like, Spanish is relevant to like my life. It's relevant to, just being in, in California and, hey, que pasó, pasa buen día, all that stuff. But just Japanese, like, it's hard. All the sentences are backwards. So,
Mm.
and even the other day, I was like, how do you say before? And she was like, she couldn't even answer it the right way. I don't even know, like, because I'm like, I'm trying to figure out a way to memorize it, like, because to me, I take subject, verb, object, right? So I can think in Spanish. You can get the yo quiero comido. I want food. Okay, cool. But in Japanese, it's like you just have to learn the whole freaking sentence. There is no building block. So you're just like, it's like your website has cookies. You just memorize these things. The whole sentence means this, but like mizo nomimasu something, which is I drink the water. But I don't know. I think miso's water, but then no, I don't. Everything is strange. Like I can't memorize anything. You know?
Okay. See, I heard because I've been like fucking binge watching a lot of living in Japan videos, like on
Yeah,
YouTube.
yeah.
And from what a lot of them tell me, they say that if you're gonna learn Japan, like learn Japan from like the textbooks
Uh-huh.
is what you sound like, is what it sounds like you're trying to do. They're like, that's not gonna help you. They say you have to learn Japan from speaking to people on the streets because the people on the streets speak a different I don't want to say a different dialect, but they use a different. They speak Japanese with a slang versus the textbook Japanese.
I'm
You
just
get
gonna. I know I'm gonna be in a fight with somebody trying to learn the language
see
if we
they,
do that.
but that's the same thing as English though. Like we can speak. You and I are not speaking quote unquote proper English.
Oh, uh-huh.
Like a lot of the masses who are born in America aren't speaking proper English. Like the way they teach English is very proper and it's very like there's very little slang.
Mhm.
But all you hear is slang on the streets.
Mhm.
you know, like isn't part
Yes.
of isn't something that they teach, but that's something that you and I understand to be like the end of the phrase, whereas someone else can interpret that as like, is that a question?
Yeah, I get you, but it's just like I get it. I get it. I think it's just going to be way more difficult. Just
I gotta go.
okay. You gotta go.
I got no. I mean, I gotta go to Japan. Like, I gotta go to Japan. I gotta figure it out. I have to go. I have to go. I have to go.
Okay, va a Japón, I guess. Yeah.
What is that? Happy
go
travel?
to. No, just go to Japan. Like, go to Japan in Spanish. See, it's easier for me to do Spanish because to me, here's the thing: Spanish is just synonyms of English at a certain point, But Japanese is the whole "kaimono da gashitai desu ka?" I'm like, what the fuck does that mean? Like, just random things in Japanese. I'm like, what?
But Japanese sounds cool though. I don't care, especially in the anime. Like when they're shouting, that sounds cool.
Yeah.
Spanish. I'm about to graduate in the summer, right, for my bachelor's degree, and throughout my whole educational career, Spanish is the only course I've ever failed.
Yeah, I mean, it's because the way they teach it is so like
fucking stupid. Yeah. Oh, can I curse on this? I don't know.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it's fine. It's okay. But yeah, it's because like what was the other phrase? Oh, okay. So like do you say "boku wa Edwin des" like when you introduce yourself?
What does that mean? What are you talking about?
Like when you
yeah, you lost me. I was like, what?
No. When you like, how much Japanese do you know how to speak?
None.
Oh, dude! Oh my god! Because that's why I said
I haven't even started. Do you ever plan on going to Japan?
Not right now. But if it ever happens, like especially with the virus and stuff, like I just took it off the table. But I mean, maybe, I don't know. We'll see.
Really, that's very interesting. That people are like not doing things because of the virus, but maybe I don't know. Maybe because I'm healthy and I'm young, I'm like, yo, this is a great time to travel right now. Like
try to be Mr. We try to become, what's the word? Like considerate of other people, but then I'm like, all right, maybe not. I don't know what's going on. So yeah.
like fucking cruises that used to be $100, $200 are like $30.
Yeah.
They're giving these tickets away.
Yeah, but I mean, from what I've heard, cruises were never that safe to begin with. So
yeah. But it's an example. Like
completely.
You take your life into your own hands, but like with the difference that you're saving, you could probably pay for some insurance.
It's just I don't know. Like everything's weird because I thought we were gonna have mutant corona. Like we might still have in the wintertime corona 2. I don't know. So you know what I mean? Like no one knows what the hell's going on right now. So what can you do?
I mean, what you've been doing, like, it's like, all right, bro. To be honest with you, bro, like, people, like, how to say this? I understand people who share your sentiment, and there's always gonna be something to be afraid of. Like, I don't know if you're aware, but like, we're on a planet that's floating through space with flying rocks everywhere. There is literally a reason to always be in fear. I mean, for real, we like the world that we live in is unfathomably more dangerous than you can possibly imagine.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, you have absolute reason to be afraid at all every day of your life until you die, but you can just choose not to. It's like, I know death is out there, so it's like, let me try to have as much fun as I possibly can now before that shit gets me.
Okay. I mean, I guess I was just trying to be like, considerate and trying to be, I don't know.
Nah, fuck off. Considerate of who? Considerate of death? Like, it's coming for you anyways. Like, it's gonna come for you whether it gets you through corona or whether it gets you the cancer, or whether it gets you through old age. So it's like,
Okay.
live your life. If you want to do something, just fucking do it. And now is a great time to do it because no one else is doing it, right? Like no one else is traveling, so like you should go travel because there's fewer people on the planes.
Yeah. I just wish I knew the language. That's all. I mean,
Of Japan, Japanese.
yeah.
There's apps for that, bro. Just download some apps. That's what I was gonna do.
You don't. But what if you lose your phone? You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Like, it just seems like bad luck to me being an American in another country not speaking the language. I don't know. But that's just me. I have a weird. I'm not like other people. I guess I don't know.
What do you mean?
Like, everyone just travels and they kind of just do their thing. I would rather just work on my projects. I don't know. Like, how do I explain it? Like, people getting obsessed about possessions, or they're obsessed about whatever. I don't know. I just work on a lot of content. To me, I think content is sort of an extension of my soul. Whether it's this podcast or my animated projects or my graphic novel or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, somebody told me, go for bohemianism, don't go for consumerism. Be identified by the things you work on, not by the things you consume, not in so much the places you be. Because I mean, everyone's on Instagram posting photos of going around the world, and I always felt like we're just going in debt, trying to go around the world or trying to impress people, And I don't know. If I was going to go in debt, if I was going to declare bankruptcy, I would rather do it, doing something, a film or something. That's me though.
No, what you're saying is absolutely true, but I guess something I learned from like writing and reading books on writing is that you can't write all that well until you've experienced. You know what I'm saying? And this is speaking directly to me. Like, I am profoundly inspired by the experiences that I've had, and those experiences inform my writing. Without those experiences, my writing suffers. It just does, because those experiences I could draw upon to create characters, to create situations, to create storylines, because I saw those things play out firsthand. So to me, if it's like, okay, if I amass all these experiences and that's just in America, I can only imagine the kind of insights that I could have on human nature, and i.e., my storytelling if I were to travel abroad. So that's how I see it. I see it like this is an investment of my craft, because just being able to go to Japan and experience the Japanese culture for however long will influence my writing, because I'm bubbling with I'm brimming with all these experiences that I just want to tell the world about, and that's going to manifest through my creative endeavors.
Okay. I guess. I mean,
but you're absolutely right about those people who travel and all they do is post pictures on Instagram and this, that, and the other. Fucking hype beat. I hate those people. Like, all right, hate's a strong word, but you understand what I'm saying. Like, fucking posers, man.
Yeah.
But
well, I know somebody, like, I think they can't, like, I think there's some warrant out for their arrest in the US, so they just fled to South America. So they're taking a bunch of photos and like, oh, it's so beautiful, I don't think I'll ever leave. And I'm like,
because you can't.
So it's just
the best of the situation.
I like, to me, social media, I feel like, in like North Korea, they have like the propaganda posters and the videos and stuff.
Sounds like every country. But yeah.
Well, in North Korea, though, they do it. They have a certain way of doing it, though. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Like the food is, like, you go to the market, the food is fake. They just wanted to show people, oh, we have a market. Like that kind of level.
South Korea or North Korea?
North Korea.
Oh, okay.
Right? It's just sometimes when I see people on social media, I have that sort of North Korean propaganda feeling. Like, you ever see like a social media thing by somebody and you're like, this person is not that happy in real life,
Oh, absolutely. Pretty much 90% of the people who I used to follow were like that. I have since unfollowed them because I don't want to see that on my newsfeed. But that's just the nature of the beast. Everybody wants to show off, but it's like, going back to what I was saying, it's about what does it mean to you? Does traveling to XYZ country, is that gonna like develop you as a person, or is it just gonna get you more followers?
Okay, I get you.
Because if you're doing it just to get you more followers, it's exactly what you just said. You're getting into debt
Mhm.
so you can impress the Joneses.
Yeah.
And to me, it's like, yo, like fuck the Joneses. Fuck the Joneses. Fuck all these like buying new cars. Fuck all this like
Mhm.
travel porn, like taking pictures so you can show off to your friends. It's like that's fucking
Mhm.
stupid, and your friends don't really care. For you, like, think about
Yeah.
that. Like, how many people have you seen on your newsfeed who like you've seen them do something and you actually like that's changed your life profoundly? Like someone going on a cruise has made you like change your perspective on life. Has that ever happened to you, bro? Like no, because no one cares. Nobody cares that you're having the best time of your. Nobody cares. Nobody. So you just do it for you. Just do it for you.
Yeah.
But you're also in your own lane. So like even if you and I are heading towards the same goal, just because we're
Yeah.
on different lanes, that you can't, judge your work to my work.
Yeah. I get you.
The life is
Yeah.
fascinating that way, bro.
Yeah.
Life is fascinating that way.
It's just it's something else. That's cool. I'm glad you have a very interesting philosophical take on things.
Bro, I do listen to Alan Watts.
What, like the druggy guy?
Whoa, you're not gonna disrespect my dog like that, all right? The,
I the one with
the,
like the I don't know, right?
the
That's who he is.
philosopher, the philosopher. Yes, Alan Watts, the philosopher.
Okay, but he does talk about using drugs, correct? Or is that
Mm,
somebody else?
that's somebody else.
If it's somebody else, then that's somebody else.
Yeah,
Because
because
I think Joe Rogan likes Alan Watts. Is that correct? Somebody said something about people who like Joe Rogan love Alan Watts. So I always assumed they were. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe not. Tell me about Alan Watts.
okay, so Alan Watts was a philosopher in the 70s who spoke about Eastern philosophy. So he was a white man, grew up in the West, but he traveled to the East to study Taoism and Buddhism and Hinduism. And he
Okay.
took his teachings back to the West to like pretty much inform the masses about how they're doing things in the East and how like we could benefit from like their psychology
Hmm.
and their philosophy on life. And I have found like a lot of the things that I'm telling you is
Hmm.
like insights that I gained from him.
Okay.
Like why are we're only taking things so seriously because other people are telling us to take it seriously, but like there's nothing going on, bro. Like nothing's going on, bro. Like this is just it is what it is,
Hmm.
you know. So
Okay.
yeah, look into him, Alan Watts, bro. Like Alan
Alan
Watts
Watts.
is Alan Watts actually informs Breakhold to me. If
Okay.
yeah, like I bought all of his books and like
Hmm.
his teachings also informed like the storyline of Breakhold and a lot of like the stuff that you mentioned about how
Hmm.
he woke up in the spirit world,
Hmm.
kind of
Cool.
lost and he has to like rediscover himself. A lot of that was inspired by Alan Watts.
So Breakhold to you is more of a spiritual story that needs to be told more than anything, right? Correct?
Yes, because I ever since I was a kid, I always wanted to be a philosopher. I want to be a philosopher and an author.
Okay,
Oh,
cool.
a philosopher, an author, and an animator. Like those are the three like
Mhm.
persistent goals that I wanted in my life.
Okay.
So yes,
That's cool. Okay, yeah. I also like the fact that because if you made it like a screenplay and you pitched it to Hollywood, they would try to make you change a whole bunch of stuff. But since you like just went out and did your own thing, like you could have like kind of cool stuff, like the thing with the three heads or whatever. Like there's something that was very unique to me. I really enjoyed that.
yeah. That's the thing about adaptations is that
Mm-hmm.
especially like Harry Potter comes to mind when I think about it.
Mm-hmm.
The way people because I've only read one Harry Potter book, so I'm not an expert on this. But the way that
Mm-hmm.
Harry Potter nuts have told me about it is like the books are way different than the movies.
Mm-hmm.
So the experience that they're getting when they're reading the books is exponentially more rich than what we are experiencing from watching the movies.
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of like the beauty of of the author, what's her name? J.K. Rowling.
J.K. Rowling.
Yeah, like that kind of. I guess that kind of. It's very satisfactory for J.K. Rowling because J.K. Rowling, even if like the movie sucks, even if like the plays suck, even if like the attractions suck, she can always say like read the book because she controls the book and like the book is her child. Everything after that is like adoption.
Interesting.
That's somebody else's interpretation of her work, but her work is the book. So to your point, Breakhold, the comic book, the future graphic novel is my work. Like this is the story, and then however Hollywood or Adult Swim decides to adapt it, like that's their interpretation of it.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah, but they're definitely gonna tone it down. Like the like the way that Breakhold is heading, like the ideas that I have in my head, is gonna get raunchy real quick, and they're definitely gonna tone that down.
That's I mean, because it's kind of raunchy to begin with. Because I think, like, I was trying to show Breakhold to somebody, and I was trying to be like, no, it's not what you thought it was. Let me clarify.
Oh, like the scene in the car.
Yes.
You know what's funny? You talk about creative process, and have you ever seen the show called Dark on Netflix?
Dark, not off the top of my head now.
Oh man, go watch that. Brilliant. Okay, so it's a time travel show, right? And the premise of the show is that the future influences the past as much as the past influences the future.
Okay.
So
interesting.
Breakhold was written, and then it was rewritten based off of like the future. Like the way it ends made me go back and change the beginning.
Okay.
Which influences the ending. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I get you.
So that scene that we're talking about right now, like that had a different ending, and then that ending kind of changed the precept. Does that make sense?
I yeah.
Yeah. So yeah. So your friend being kind of like, "Whoa, what's going on here?" Like, yeah, like that was intentional.
Okay. But yeah, it's a very I really love where the direction is going. It's a very fresh story, a very interesting take. It's not something that we've seen 50,000 times before, so it's definitely something I'm looking into.
50,000, yeah. I've been hearing a lot about how original it is. What do you like? Would you describe it as original?
Yeah, I would.
Yeah. Do you think original is a good thing though?
Yeah, I think so. Would you rather just be like everybody else?
No, I love originality, but the problem with originality is that like people can't compare it to something else.
Okay.
So speaking of, because again, I go to school for like entertainment management, and one of the things that they talk about is like when you're pitching a product, investors want to know what's a close what your product is like. You know what I'm saying? Like they need to know what is a similar product out there that is closely related to your product, so that they can see how successful it might be.
Okay.
And when you're the first of your kind, people are a lot less likely to invest in it because they don't see there's not a track record of success. Does that make sense to you?
Yeah, I get it completely. But I'll say this: working in LA, pitching things, and trying to be derivative off of certain things. Just seeing something like what you're working on, where I can tell you didn't really pitch it to anybody. It is a nice thing to see. You know what I mean? It's a welcoming, cool thing to see. Because you can watch movies now, you'll be like, oh, this is they went to this, they read the same news article I did, or they did the same thing I did. Oh, they saw that same viral video. Oh, it's like that viral video, but it's a little bit different. Oh, okay, But then I see Breakhold, and there's nothing like that there, and I can just go, ooh, this is cool. Like I feel like almost like Alan Moore did a comic book called Tom Strong. I don't know if you've ever read it. If you didn't, that's fine. But like it was his sort of, after he did Watchmen, after he did everything, and after everyone loved him, he just kind of did his own like thing. And it was just very original, and you can tell he didn't really have to please anybody. And I feel that way kind of reading Breakhold, where it's like, no, this is the story you wanted to tell. Because I've been to those pitch meetings. I've been to like King Firepower, the project I'm working on. It's like Die Hard meets Lord of the Rings. You know what I mean? It's she's a princess. Her uncle's a wizard, gives her automatic weapons from the future, and she uses it to defend her castle. You know what I mean? Like it's boom, boom, boom. It's very like sleek in that way.
And that's your
But
story.
that's the concept. That's you need an elevator pitch. That's your elevator pitch, baby. But now there's more things about it, and I'm working more. Like I had an interview where I talked about world building, and I'm just kind of world building the entire thing right now more than anything. But just everything is, it's like a machine. Just whereas yours is like it's like watching somebody make something they really enjoy, like I don't know, like a cake or something. I don't know. I don't know the best way to describe it. Maybe a custom built motorcycle. That's what Breakhold is to me. You know what I
Those
mean?
are fucking cool.
Yeah.
Those are fucking cool. I'm not even a motorcycle head or like a car head,
Mm-hmm.
but when I see
Mm-hmm.
pictures on Instagram of people who like built their vehicle from scratch, they're the coolest fucking things, man. They're so fucking cool. Oh my! I seen an armored,
Yeah.
like what is it? An armored Tesla truck?
Ah, interesting. Okay.
Yeah, and I'm like, that is fucking cool. That is I love it. I just love it because it's just oozing with originality and creativity.
Okay.
This
Are
person.
you
Go ahead.
are you a fan of Elon Musk?
Uh, the person or the products?
Well, I mean, if do you prefer one to the other, or like what is your opinion
I don't.
on
I don't follow the person. So like Elon Musk. I heard he says crazy stuff, and like to me, I don't
it?
really care. I just care about the product.
Okay. I mean, to me, Elon Musk, he's just one of those guys. Like, I don't know if I would ever buy Tesla stock. Like, if I was totally like doing my homework, completely following him, maybe. But he's such a loose cannon at times. Even if it's being theatrical or whatever, it's I hope he succeeds, but I don't know if he will. You know what I mean? So we can only hope.
Yeah, but he's also like the thing about Elon Musk, from what I perceive. Like I don't know the guy, and I haven't really done like
Mhm.
in depth research. But if he's anything like Kanye, he's a genius, bro. And from what I understand about geniuses, like and of any field,
Mhm.
they think differently from the rest of us, and that kind of and if when you've been thinking differently your whole life, your whole existence, you've been thinking left and everybody's been thinking right. Eventually, you're
Mhm.
gonna say stuff that like right people are gonna think, "Whoa,"
Mhm.
you know.
I get you.
So
Mhm.
even if he says some off the wall shit like one day pigs are gonna fly, this, that, and the other, um, for
Mhm.
whatever reason, like he thinks that's true because he's a genius. And and us, of average intelligence, we just don't
Mhm.
comprehend it. And he doesn't owe us an explanation because we're idiots.
But do you feel like genius is dependent on results?
Ooh, ooh, yes, yes. That's because
Because no, well, I'm saying like to me, Kanye doing his thing. Because I remember Charlemagne would give Kanye so much crap about what he was doing, but now Kanye's a billionaire because of doing all the things he was doing. If he listened to Charlemagne, he wouldn't have been a billionaire.
yes,
That's what I was thinking about.
but I don't think Kanye is a business genius. I think he's a
Mm.
musical genius.
Okay.
You see, like with Elon, I think he's an engineering genius. That's his specialty, right? Engineering, like building cars and stuff like that.
I mean, it is because he started with PayPal and he kind of went because you have to remember he didn't found Tesla. Tesla was founded by like two other guys, and he just came on and became the CEO later. He was kind of like I don't know what's something that wasn't where the second guy made it more big, kind of a thing. Like he's kind of I don't know how to explain, but he wasn't the founder, but he did take over the company.
Starbucks was like that.
Okay, yeah. So he can be the what's that guy's name? Howard something of
So does he
Starbucks.
not? So does is he not part of like the engineering process of Tesla and like SpaceX?
I know no, because he talks about engineering and stuff a lot. I don't know necessarily, like he probably has sort of a background where he can go to that, but you have to remember he became rich with PayPal. So, PayPal's a startup, so he has a startup mindset, and that's where he gets in a lot of problems with like cars and stuff because if you're working for the Ford Motor Company for, however many years and you see someone like Elon come along and everything's a startup and everything's clever. It's like, we're not going to do dealerships that way. And he's trying to fight the whole system of how cars are sold. There's always going to be sort of a tension there.
Okay. Well, for the sake of this conversation, I'm gonna say that he's an engineering genius, right?
Okay.
So
Yeah.
Elon is an engineering genius, and then Kanye is a musical genius.
Okay.
Would you dispute that? Do you think that Kanye is not a musical genius?
No, I know Kanye's been so obsessed with fashion and he hates it when people talk about music now in a weird way. I mean, maybe he kind of goes back and forth, but I just remember he was all about fashion. We had another podcast where we were talking about how all this religious stuff was him trying to write off money for taxes, and he's just doing all this other stuff,
Oh man.
So, because I remember just watching him, he didn't want to, because he had a whole thing about people always try to make me go back to what I miss the old Kanye. That was literally the song. So I'll say that he's an entertainment genius overall, kind of a thing, if that makes any sense.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I think, but all right. So the thing about, I'm glad you brought that up with the whole church thing. It could have been a tax write off, right? Like we don't know. It probably was most likely, right? Because he's rich and he wants to save money.
Yeah.
But the thing about, and you talk about this being crazy times in America, where you could put $1 on pretty much everything and anything. Everything is propaganda.
Yeah.
Everything is like whenever if you can make $1 off of your statement, it's propaganda to me. If you say fuck Trump, it's propaganda. If you say you're pro Trump, propaganda. Because if you can sell something off of that statement, it's propaganda.
Okay.
Propaganda. Like I heard something about there was a quote, like when the COVID first came, it was a lockdown. It was state down. It was a countrywide lockdown, which meant that you couldn't go to gyms. And there was a fitness coach that I was following, very conservative, and he posted. This is towards like the tail end of it. He posted, "I cannot believe the gyms are still closed. Like the gyms." He's like, "This is what I'm talking about. This is the propaganda to make men weak. I won't have it. You could buy my new fitness equipment 50% off. Use this promo code." Like, do you see what I'm talking about?
Like,
everything is propaganda, bro.
Yeah. Because I mean, I was having this conversation. Like, there's guys out there who are cheating on their wives with women on Instagram who don't even look like that. You know what I mean? Like, there's so many elements.
The propaganda, and those are the same guys who are talking about like, I don't need an IG girl. Like, I like a girl who's off of IG, but then you're cheating on. But the girl who's off of IG, you're cheating on her with an IG girl. The propaganda is so fucking real, bro. Like, jeez.
But like, it's scary. Like, you know what I hate? I hate comedy sketches that pretend to be real life where really fucked up things happen. You know what I'm talking about?
Explain.
Like, they had a TikTok, right? Where the dad comes in with the baseball bat and he's like, "Son, I told you not to play video games no more." And he takes the baseball bat and he breaks the television. And the kid's like, "What are you doing, Dad?" I'm like, "I told you," right? And everyone's mad. But it turned out that was a sketch. Like, they were getting rid of the TV, so they decided to make a sketch. But they didn't tell anybody. Like, so people are mad about this. And it was a sketch.
Propaganda, bro. Propaganda.
Like there was another one. Like the girl goes, "I'm tired of you playing video games," and she turns off the game for the guy, and then everyone gets in an argument. Go, "This is why I hate women," and blah 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 blah.
Propaganda. I think I saw one. It was one of those prank videos where a girl
Yeah.
She snatched the console from the fucking walls. While he was playing with it, he snatched it from the walls and she threw it into the pool.
Oh
And I think he was livid. He was getting ready to beat her ass, and like it was bad. And but she had already bought him a new one. So she's like, "Oh, baby, I have you a new one, this, that, and the other." And this is all for clicks on YouTube, you know. And you just like I look at this, I just shake my head. I'm like, "Damn, I got God again, bro. Fuck."
I hate that shit though, man.
God again, bro.
So there's always that one guy who thinks it's real, tries to do something, and then you see a local news story, and you're like, oh, that guy thought it was real. He tried to do it in real life. You know what I mean? So
because
I think it is propaganda, but it's also a very important conversation people need to have because
and you know why? You know why? You know why someone like that would just do it? Because the entertainment nowadays in all mediums, whether it's music, whether it's news, whether it's something like this, podcasting, in order to stand out, it can't it can't advertise as entertainment anymore.
It's so scary. We're gonna go to a very scary place.
Yeah, like people can't go out there and say, "Hey, this is not real," because then people won't be interested. You have to kind of like fake it, like just like remove the disclaimer, so to speak, like and just let people make their own assumptions.
But that's why, like that video I told you about earlier, where I'm like, is this real life? Like that's why I'm always on, you know.
And even the video you just told me right now about the biker snatching like the like that's what the caption says, but you don't see the posters. You don't see you don't see the original source, like who actually posted this. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like all again, more propaganda. That could have been about anything. They could have been posting up fucking dick pics. You know, and he just wasn't having it. He was like, not in my neighborhood. But then someone else records that, and then someone else puts a different caption over it, like, "Oh, this guy's a racist, this and the other." Like, we don't know what the posters say. You see what I'm saying? And this is why I say propaganda is everywhere, because you just don't know, bro. You just don't know.
It's hard though for your soul. Like you're just constantly in a war all the time. You know what I mean?
Because you don't know.
I know.
You just don't know. Like, what were they posting? Were they really posting up pictures of George Floyd, or were they posting up pictures of Pickled Rick? You know, like.
Yeah. But it's just because it's like sometimes you read the news and like the headline says the opposite of what the article says. So every day I'm like, like there's times when I'm not. You have to be a detective to know what's going on all the time, you know. And it's like who has the time for that?
Well, that's it. Well, you're right, but I think that's a problem now because people haven't been doing it to begin with.
Oh yeah.
You see what I'm saying? Like when you growing up, people have the masses have just defaulted to institutions like the New York Times and like their college and like their parents and their church to feed them the information. But now when you as an individual have to do your own due diligence, people are like, this is too much, this, that, and the other. It's like, stop being fucking lazy. You have all the power in your hands. Just take some time out of your day to research some shit. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I get what you're saying. It's true, but nobody ever explained it in this perspective before.
That's yo. I walk through life sober, bro. Like, like I see everybody else is so drunk off of bullshit. I'm like, yo, I'm just sober as fuck, bro. I'm like, yo, I see where you're coming from, but this is a reality of the situation.
Okay. Interesting. Because you deal with it all the time. That's why, to me, there's people who are mad about things that aren't real right now. That's the part to me that I'm just kind of dealing with,
Yeah.
And they're just, some of them are too far gone. It's a part of their identity now, so they don't want to let it go because you got the sunk cost fallacy and everything else. So I'm just, it's just the world we're living in, and I'm just trying to figure it all out, you know?
Yeah, and look again, everyone's trying to figure it out. And you know what? Even if this news thing, like the information era that we live in, even if that wasn't a thing, and
Mm-hmm.
we could all
Mm-hmm.
resort to one reliable source about information, you would be having this
Mm-hmm.
conversation about something else. And you
Okay.
know why? Because
Why?
existence is a very complicated thing. Even
Mm,
if we weren't
okay.
focusing on information, you'll be focusing on the reason for your existence in the first place. Existential dread.
Okay.
You know,
Okay. I
this
get you.
replaces your existential dread. This is your existential dread.
Oh my goodness. All right.
Yeah.
So, did you have any other topics that you wanted to exclaim or explore while we're recording?
No, man. Hey, like, uh, if you enjoy this conversation, this is pretty much the stuff that I think about, and this is pretty much the stuff that I write about. So definitely check out Breakhold. Again, it's free on Webtoon. The first 6 episodes are up there. If you want to let me know what you think about it, my Instagram, my Twitter is at underscore. Oh, my my information is at senpai underscore Edwin. So at senpai underscore Edwin on Instagram and Twitter.
So, if you introduce yourself in Japanese, you go, "Oh, Boku wa senpai Edwin desu."
Tying it all back.
Ah.
Tying it all back.
All right. So, so did you have so Webtoon is going to be the main headquarters for Breakhold, correct? Like there's no going to be no external website.
No, if anything, I could just send you my Instagram because my Instagram has like the link tree to everything else.
Follow me at Twitter at redcayman. You can also go to my website www.kingfirepower.net. Please sign up to get your email address to get new updates for when King Firepower is coming out. We're probably going to do a crowdfunder probably in a couple months from this episode.
Awesome.
So yeah, yeah.
King
King
Firepower. Is
Firepower.
that the one on your website? Like the little comic preview that you have?
Oh yeah, the comic book. Yeah, that's King
Okay,
Firepower.
so
Um, I used to work at Blockbuster, right? And we worked at Blockbuster. Our Blockbuster went out of business. We covered the entire store in going out of business signs. They had not only was the outside covered in the store, there's multiple pictures, multiple poster looking things hanging down saying going out of business, going out of business, going out of business, right? So while this occurs, this old lady walks into the store. She tries to get a movie, and she's like, wait a minute, can't I just rent it anymore? I'm like, no, we're going out of business. And goes, when does this happen? And I'm like, how do you not notice every single sign? Like it was a news story. It was everyone was talking about it. She had no idea, you
clue.
know? So to me, when I try to sell King Firepower, I try to, do it for someone like that, where it's like, nah, she's going to know. You know what I
Right.
mean? Like she's kind of the person. I'm like, no, this is what it's called. She's like, well, I was gonna spend money on it, but I don't know what it's called. And well, it's right here in my Twitter thing. Well, I didn't look at that. Like you have to just bash them on the head over
Yeah,
it,
and you said Breakhold at
Because
least 5 times.
oh
You said it
well,
at least 5 times. If they didn't understand, if they didn't get what the title of my project was by the end of this episode, they're fucking idiots.
yeah. So I mean, that's just what you have to do. You have to. It's almost like, have you ever heard of the French phrase "jamais vu"?
Maybe no.
Okay, so jamais vu is a French phrase meaning that when something is repeated so many times, it loses meaning to your mind. That's what's called
Yeah.
jamais vu, right? And when you work in Hollywood, like I was on a film shoot. It was a UFC film student did their thing. They must have did 47 takes of this freaking thing. This guy thought he was freaking Kubrick, right? But all he did was like tire his actors out. You know, it was a scene where like some guy was being confronted about his VR addiction, and they said that they had the same fight 47 times to the point where I'm just listening to it as a crew member. I forgot who I was. You know what I mean?
You're just spaced out.
Yeah, and everyone was commenting on it, and I'm like, yeah, dude, this is jamais vu. And luckily, since I know that phrase, when you audition and they want you to say the same line 100 times, whatever, I can go, okay, I'm going into, like, I have a phrase for what I'm feeling, and I think that's very important. But sometimes when you promote things, you got to do that where you're just saying King Firepower so many times, like people are like, oh, what? You know what I mean? But it gets that one person who doesn't see all the freaking signs. Oh, I think it's called King Firepower. Okay.